All right, what's up, guys? If you're in Sydney, Australia, you're crazy just like me because it's 5:04 a.m. Tuesday morning and we're just getting started. So I want to say good morning to everybody. And if you're a coffee drinker, salute. Today we're going to I'm going to start today with addressing this ongoing story. It's obviously the Frank Martin Shakur Stevenson news that the fight got called off. We first heard about it 2 days ago on Sunday, but I wanted to see what was going to happen over the last 48 hours because one of the things about boxing that, from my perspective, that I kind of like is this is going to sound odd, the lack of transparency during these events, because when fights get called off, when potential fights are rumored to be true, you see all these media sources, everybody from low-level people like myself to the mainstream media like, ESPN.com, Sporting News, who will speculate, and then the fans will either say fake news or call people out for speculating. Guys, speculation and conjecture is part of the game. So that should be, it's just like that board game, that Monopoly version of My Hometown. That's a game. Speculation of a sport that we love is part of the game, so get used to it. Communication, though, transparency between people like myself and you awesome people is what I pride myself on. Now, that should be part of the game, but websites that speculate without transparency, now I'm on your side. I don't like that. Now, what are we talking about? I put in the Facebook group about when this fight was being called off, and you're starting to see a lot of comments that Frank Martin is a duck. These comments were going so crazy that Frank Martin took to his Instagram to address the rumors that he's a duck, that he was ducking Core. And you start hearing statistics, you start seeing or reading comments about how Frank Martin was offered 17%, Core was getting 83%. And from an 80-20 split, that's really not that big of news, because in order to climb, if you're a fighter like Frank Martin, you have to take, in order to get the bigger fights, there's a time in your career where you're going to be you have to realize that you're the B side, and in order to become the A side, you take less money. It's what happens in fights. I mean, look what Devin Haney did against George Kambosos the first time around. I'm not sure about the second time around because Haney obviously won that fight. But once Kambosos beat Loma, I mean, the split isn't going to be 50-50 for his next opponent. So for people with this Martin Shakur Stevenson news to say that Martin ducked versus bailed out because, hey, I want more money, call it what you will. I'm going to play a video for you. Now, I have the website up. The website's bullshit, so I don't want to give the website too much pub, but the video link is from Fight Hub, and it's Frank Martin addressing those rumors. He really just doesn't say anything. Like the clickbaity website titles the video Frank Martin fires back at Shakur Stevenson for calling him a duck. It's really just Frank Martin addressing the money side of things. Now, this is where I wanted to ask you guys, if we're both fighters, you and me, everyone watching this, and we choose not to fight an opponent because we feel we're not getting paid enough, aren't we allowed to just say that? And if we do say that, are we a duck? That's where I think it gets confusing for fans, trolls, writers, and boxers. Because if I put my hand up and say up front, hey, I would fight this guy, but I feel at this stage of my career, it's a dangerous fight because I've yet to break through in terms of making generational wealth money. And the money that this guy's offering me, which is a dangerous fight, isn't enough. So I'm not going to take that fight. Is that ducking? If that's ducking, let me just play you the Frank Martin video. Here we go. I don't know what this music is, but
from what I seen, Shakur was basically saying that he feel like he worth more. Feel him on that. He want a better split, a more fair split. But I feel like Devin, I don't know. He took like a lower percentage to go against Cambosis. You know, he had to do that. So I feel like sometimes as fighters, you know, we might have to accept certain terms like that, you know, to get in those type of positions, and then, you know, the tables turn. Oh, we gonna bang out. We gonna take that. We're gonna take that because we trying to get to the top, you know, and then after that table's gonna turn. So
Okay, so what is he really? So this is the article that just came out today. That sounds to me that he was planning on taking the fight, right? Doesn't it? Also, this Tank news at 135. Would it make more sense, guys, for Frank Martin to get offered more money to fight Tank than Shakur? I know if you're gonna put Frank in there to be cannon fodder against Tank, and from Frank's team's perspective, yeah, I understand that because it's a big fight. It's a bigger fight. Tank Davis is one of the biggest draws in the game. His last fight with Ryan Garcia, I'm pretty sure, had more pay-per-view buys than the EJ and Bud Crawford fight. So Tank Davis is like what Conor McGregor was in MMA. Tank is the boxing when Conor would say, "We're gonna you fight me. You're gonna call your wife and tell him, baby, we made it. Get the red panties out, the red panty party." That's Tank Davis. You know, he's a draw. People want to see that kid fight. Now, is that true? Now, this is where the speculation comes in, what I started this video on. And I only see it on a couple of these websites. Frank Martin denies ducking Shakur Stevenson. I ain't duck shit. Frank could be right if the rumors are true that he's being lined up for a mega payday against the biggest star in the 135 division, Tank Davis. Who's saying that? Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you my theory on why Frank would say no to Shakur, but I'm not telling you that I'm creating the rumors of the Tank Davis. I've been trying to keep up to this, up to minute this stuff. It's like 5:11 a.m. now. Nothing new has been written. It is interesting. It is interesting too that us as fans pile on the fighters and call them ducks and everything. I was really looking forward to the Frank Martin Shakur Stevenson fight. I think that fight would be great for the fans and great for their careers. Also, I like siding with fighters when they call it. Terrence Crawford in an interview recently said that it's Floyd Mayweather's fault because he was so great by retiring undefeated. Now, he said before Floyd, we didn't really care too much about the fans and the media. But because Floyd went undefeated, he talks about it all the time, never lost. This whole new generation of fighters, it's part of their narrative about if I have a loss, the promotional companies aren't going to boost me up in their so-called algorithm. And it's just the world we live in. But back in the day, I mean, everyone had losses. Losses are part of the game. But now it's like if these fights were to take place and fighters started fighting everybody when they're undefeated and getting losses, that's the only way this sort of landscape could change of the narrative of fighters ducking and then picking and choosing. If money wasn't an issue, Frank Martin would fight Shakur. That's what my heart of hearts says. I mean, if that's going to change with your opinion and my opinion. But they're boxers. They're high-level problem solvers with physical consequences. These are life-trained ninjas. I know Frank's, I think, 30 now and never really been a champion. But I guarantee if money wasn't an issue, he'd fight Shakur. We'll see how this plays out. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What's a duck? I mean, that's a conversation we could have. How would you classify a duck? Now, if I'm a fighter and I think that I'm being maneuvered away up in the rankings because, say, I'm good looking, or say I speak well, or say I come from a country with a huge following, but I know deep down that I don't have the skills to back it up, that would be in my head the only sort of narrative to call somebody a duck. But I just don't see that with this fight. Let me know what you guys think. Stay tuned to the channel. We got to get this algorithm back up. Like, share, subscribe. The like and comments are how YouTube suggests videos to strangers who don't follow. So I'd love for you guys to do that. And stay tuned. We got a lot of videos coming today, and I love your feedback. So in the community section or the comment section, let me know what you think. Oh, Fedor. Of course. Fedor's an MMA fighter. Fedor's one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. OG GOAT from the Pride days. I used to love watching Fedor fight. Him and his brother. His brother was a savage and a stud too. That whole part of the world, fighters are just different and cut from a different cloth. I got a client down at my gym in about a half hour, so I got to wrap this up. But I appreciate your support. I'll be back soon. I'll be back in about an hour. Rock and roll.